Everyone, I got an interesting real-time edit for you today. This black skimmer skimming in the marsh. It was just at sunrise, so I don't even know if the sun was shining yet. I think it was just a lot of color in the background, so I unfortunately did underexpose it a little bit, but it did give me the tone in the sky, and I think my ISO is manageable, so yeah, 900. So I should be able to lighten this up. So first things first, let's find the in focus line of water, straighten this sucker out. I'm going to try and give the bird more space in front of it instead of on the back side. And here's something that happens. Let's go a little bit lighter, right? So there we go. Now we can start to see the bird and the separation there. So here's something that happens with these weird white balances, right? So there's just all this pink color and then like green marsh grass coming in the background. The camera has no idea how to white balance that, and so it screws it up all the time. So you can see there's just a shitload of blue in this bird here, especially if I bring up the white balance tool. So I'm going to neutralize that. There we go. All right, now this really warmed up and pinked up the background. It did make it more orange, and I kind of like the cooler look. So I'm going to go a little bit more towards back towards the blue white balance. And then I'm going to do that even more on the top, also with the magenta, and the bottom here, because I kind of liked that pink color that it gave me here. Again, I have a little bit of blue coming in there, so in Lightroom I'm just going to go to the blues, desaturate the blues and cyans a good bit, and that kind of cleans that up nicely. So this looks really good overall. The bird's still dark, so I'm going to lighten that up in Photoshop by doing a second layer off the raw file. So here's my base layer. I'm going to duplicate this, then in Photoshop go to filter, camera raw filter. That'll bring this up with the same settings. I do not need to learn more. Thank you very much, Adobe. So now I'm going to go up with the exposure, definitely kick my shadows up. There we go. Now I can start to really see the detail on the bird there. Obviously it's getting grainy and noisy back there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much because I'm just going to paint this in. So there, now I have a new layer with just that adjustment on it. Let me actually just try that on, in Lightroom to see if it looks the same when I lighten it up even more. Not quite the same. So it might actually be better quality to do it on the raw file here. So let's pop that open in Photoshop and stack it and see the difference between the two. There we go. Using the camera raw filter or the actual raw file. So yeah, it's about the same. Maybe a little bit more noise there, but I also got a little bit more detail out of the raw files, or the Lightroom edit. So I'll stick with that one. Anyway, let's mask this out. I'm just going to use a soft brush here because I don't need to get real precise. Just going to be kind of general with it. I just am looking to lighten up the white on the bird, and I am looking to show that eye a little bit more, which I think I'll have to just do manually on my own. But there we go. This is lightening up the underside of the bird. Definitely hit the back side that's catching some of this light back here just to accentuate that wing standing out there. That's really good. So you can see using just a small soft brush with this, I don't have to get all detailed and precise, and it lets me go a little bit quicker, right? So the other way is I could go in and specifically mask out every little feather and cut in a nice outline, and you know, you see me do that a lot in some of these real-time edits, but in this circumstance I think I can kind of cheat the system and get away without doing that. There we go. That's a little bit more catch light in the eye, right? So it's just enough to see that eye, and that's looking pretty good. So very minor distraction there. I do not love this one random light spot that's right behind the bird there, so I'm just going to clone that out because it also comes in on front of the head there. Add a layer mask, and then bring that edit back in quite precisely here. There we go. So just blend that in nicely. And voila. All right, so I do think the marsh grass in the background in the dark areas here could use a little bit richer black to it, so it's not kind of washing out there. The one thing I have to be aware is when it gets near the bird there, it's going to kind of blend in that dark area with the skimmer. So I don't want to darken the skimmer anymore. And if anything, what I might do is paint in. You can see there's the tiniest bit of rim light some kind of happening here. So I'm just going to enhance that a little bit more so the head of the bird stands out more. And let me see if I can just punch up that catch light a tiny bit more. There we go. Look at that. Now I can see the head of the skimmer showing, and I'll do the same around here, right? Just kind of give myself a little bit of an edge on the bird that kind of helps give the shape of it. There we go. Color wise in the sky, gosh, I think that's about it. I mean, if I hit it with some contrast and then maybe just a little bit darker contrast, it might kind of saturate that up a little bit up there and down here. Yeah, there we go, right? That's kind of nice. I went a little bit into the grass too much there, but and I will say there's still some funky blue tones in there, so I'm just gonna kind of warm up the skimmer there and paint that in just on the bird so it doesn't really affect any other areas. Oh, and I really see it in the reflection, but maybe a little bit too yellow there. There we go. So now I'm just painting in this curves adjustment layer to kind of warm up the underside of the bird, and there you can see it starting to happen. And then I'll do the same down here. There we go, right? Takes those blue tones out of there, and actually on the bottom here, I'm just gonna sample some of this pink on a color layer and just kind of paint some of that in and some of that orange maybe. There we go. I'm digging it. Maybe a little too red under there now, so that layer I just painted in probably did a little bit too much of that. Yeah, there we go. All right, that cleaned up everything. Let's save that and compare it to the original. Should be a pretty significant change on this one, only because the image was severely underexposed, and I did a little bit of layer stacking there to bring out more detail on the skimmer itself. And yeah, you can see already there's a pretty good difference between the two. So got final on the left here, original on the right, just pretty dark. I probably should have exposed that a little bit lighter, but it happened so quick I didn't have much time to adjust anything. But this is a pretty unique photo for me. I don't have any skimmers with like pastel, pre-sunrise or right at dawn color skies like this. So I'm really happy with this, and I like that you can see the streak from where the skimmer was actually trying to feed there. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something. If you are interested in learning a little bit more, hop on over to rayhennessy.com, go to the workshops menu, check out the online workshops, hit the remote training, and you can find out more details about how to work with me. We'll connect online, and I can walk you through step by step how I do these edits and answer any questions you may have. If you want to work with me on a little bit more of an ongoing basis, you can also go to the workshops menu and check out my mentorships. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed.